everybody, and welcome to a new series that I think I might plan on continuing this. Before I start this, it's kind of like a experiment kind of going on. I don't got a script, I don't got nothing going on for it. It's just me trying to figure out if this will actually work. Um, but to where I not finally, but where I kind of got this idea, I saw in the comments. For my other theme park, which I'm still working on, of course, but I heard that you guys want to know about lessons in roller coasters, and of course, I was thinking I was just going to go to that when it gets to it, but I noticed that in my thoughts and plans on my theme park that I'm building right now, I'm not going to have a lot of roller coasters. I mean, sure, there will be like maybe 3 or 4 roller coasters in my park. It's more predominantly going to be flat rides and dark rides, and it's basically more that theme park I'm building is basically more for the construction of theming and layout of a theme park, like how to lay things out, entrances, exits, bathrooms, and whatever. Just basically the whole layout of how a theme park should possibly be blueprinted, laid out, or look. That's almost to the extent of the theme park that I'm building. Um, of course, I will delve into the roller coasters too, but like I said, it's only going to be about 3 or 4. I know I'm already going to plan a water ride, and right now there's only one official roller coaster that I know I will put in there, because of course it is coming close. I think I'm almost just about done with the entrance. Um, but I got this idea from somebody in the comment section. Sorry, I didn't look up your name, but hold on. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. If it is here, let me see. Uh, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't want to keep holding up this video. Just I'm sorry, but shout out in the comments if that was you that mentioned about lessons on roller coasters. I'm gonna do a separate video, which is this is about. It's not separate videos, but separate series of videos, somewhat like lessons, like basically telling you as much, at least to my knowledge, how much I know about roller coasters and theme parks. But with this first one, let's get started. Go ahead and get this thing rolling. With this one, I don't have a script. I don't got anything laid out. It's just everything that I already know, and I kind of looked up things right now just to refresh myself, because it's been a while since I've read up anything about roller coasters. But of course, it's still in there. I still got it. It's still up there. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start on with this lesson. Um, this one will start off with one of my favorite roller coaster companies that do build awesome roller coasters. They are called. Sorry if I screw up this name. It's called Bolliger and Mabillard. I just call them B&M, and everyone calls them B&M. So it's just called B&M. Okay, so on to our first lesson. What is a B&M roller coaster? Well, the easiest way to figure out what a B&M is the track design. This one is a typical one. We're going to get to this one later. It's like it's not really the most common design. I think one of the most common companies that do make it are Arrow, which I do believe is already bankrupt. S&S makes them. Togo kind of looks like that. It's got a little bit of a look to it, but I'll just say S&S kind of makes that roller coaster, or at least the design. But this one, it is the most prominent roller coaster that is a B&M. It's got this square shape spine compared to the circle one. And of course, another easy way to know that it's a B&M is that the wheels, they roll outside of the track, as opposed to these ones that are technically inward. Like they got the guide wheels right here. I believe that's what's called, the guide wheels. Oh, man, it's been a while since I know, but I will correct myself. The guide wheels, I believe, are right here. These are the ones that hold on to the railing. This one holds on to the inside of the rail. However, with B&M, they go on the outside. So that's one of the easiest things to learn, or to figure out what type of roller coaster it is. Also, secondly, B&Ms, they always, at least so far, no matter what I've learned, they are always 4 in a row, no matter what. At least for now, no matter what it is, it's always 4 in a row. Even with the new God, I forgot what that name is. Golden Eagle, Flying Eagle, something like that. It's coming out in a. It's on the tip of my tongue. Cedar Point. They're called winged roller coasters, and of course I got one here in California, but it was not made by B&M, and it's much better because they got rotating seats. But anyway, going out of track here. B&M, they are famous for having four in a row seats compared to typical ones who have 2x2 box cars, which of course they're still the same four. With this kind of design, it does, as you can see, it does leave room for a lot more guest capacity compared to this one. I mean, look, you only have four cars sitting on the station here. I suppose you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, double that, and you still got more room for more cars. So that's also a good thing about B&Ms, of course, which is again my favorite roller coasters to ride on. Um, but typically, I think the maximum capacity or trains that they do put on a B&M are just 8. At least so far, I've only seen they have gone for 8. Let's see, any other characteristics about the B&M, at least from a standpoint? Oh, yes, of course. Riding these things, they are smooth as hell. It feels like you are gliding on ice when you are riding these things. Even the aged ones, they don't even feel bumpy at all. These are the smoothest roller coasters you would ever ride, as opposed to, of course, these things. Oh boy. Oh, especially SNS coasters. Oh god, they are bumpy as hell. You will know an SNS coaster when they are bumpy as hell. Oh, these are serious head rattlers here. Um, but as far as aesthetics and close-up inspections go, that is one way to tell the difference of what is a B&M and what is not a B&M. Now, something that is more prone to RCT3, something of more interest to us, is the different types of B&Ms. Now, of course, you got your basic sit-down B&M. A couple examples of those rides are from SeaWorld in Florida. You got the Kraken, that is another basic one. You also got another basic one in Islands of Adventure, which is a little different since it does have a launched section of the Incredible Hulk. But of course, those are both one and the same rides. It's just that one is a typical chain lift roller coaster, the other one's got a launched lift hill. Um, yeah, just nothing really much to say. You're just sitting down four in a row as usual. Another typical thing, of course, you have the floorless ones. It's the same as the other ones. It's just got no floors on it. Really feels like you're a lot more free to move with these ones. Wait a minute. No. Scratch that. This one, not the Kraken. I believe the Kraken is the floorless roller coaster. Incredible Hulk for this one. Kraken with this one. And of course, my hometown with Six Flags Magic Mountain, we got one with the roller coasters called Scream. Or as we like to call it here, the parking lot coaster, because it was built on a parking lot. Yeah, Six Flags is famous for all that kind of stuff. Um, but as for that, again, a really smooth ride. Basically, it's most of these rides, either one of them, they're not really that extreme. At least to me, they're not. They're to me they're like beginner roller for beginners. It's perfect for beginners that want to get into roller coasters. They do have inversions, but to me they're not really. What's that word you call it? They're not disorienting. At least to me, it doesn't feel disorienting. It's such a smooth ride, and it feels so perfect that it's just like one of those roller coasters that you're not scared of it. You just enjoy the ride. Now for this one, the flying type coaster. First ones that usually came out, it wasn't Stealth. That one's a different company entirely, even though it does have the same ride system. I think it was in Paramount, but they took that out a long time ago. I'll just say a recent one. Of course, we got like a couple Superman ones in different Six Flags, but of course, again, my hometown theme park, Earthworld Park, whatever you want to call them, whatever they want to call themselves. Basically, the world record for the tallest, fastest flying roller coaster, Tatsu. With these ones, oh, phew, if you rode Tatsu, the chain lift, there is no guard under it, so you are like above, I guess, 200 feet above the ground. Of course, you're on a mountain, and it just feels like you're about those restraints are about to fall off or like just pop out, and you're just gonna drop to your death. But the sensation of flying just it beats all. Um, this one is a little bit scary to me. First time I saw that pretzel loop. No, don't worry, I'll get to that later. With each successing video, I will go into detail of each ride or coaster mechanic. But that pretzel loop does throw you for a loop, I guess. Hitting that bottom part of the loop, that you almost feel like you're gonna black out. So this one's a little bit more extreme, at least when you go into a large pretzel loop like the one on Tatsu. Okay, next one. We have the inverted coaster, famous for countless Batmans across every frickin' Six Flags that has ever been built. At least I think we have 4, maybe 3. But yeah, depending how this is built, this thing can be really, really harsh, especially on the legs. Let's see. Of course, I said the famous ones are Batman. There's one in Cedar Point called Raptor. That one, I'm pretty sure, is not as bad as Batman, because those guys. Let's see. It's a little bit bigger for them. They got bigger loops. I'm not sure. I've never ridden Raptor before, but I've seen it, so I guess that qualifies anything. But something. Let's see. It is, like I said, it is a little harsh on the legs, depending on how the ride or the track is. Like Batman, I know it's small, but it's really fast, and it goes through those inversions super quick. So all the blood does rush to your blood. These ones are perfectly famous for multiple inversions. But there's one in Knott's Berry Farm called the Silver Bullet. That one feels just like these ones, surprisingly, which I do like. They've got large looping portions. It's not that harsh, especially on the legs. So depending on how it's built, you can make it as intense or as how do I say, glideful. We'll go for glideful, whatever, glideful as you can, depending on how it's built. So next one over, we have the stand-up coaster. These ones are seriously popular with as a lot of inversions. At least to my knowledge. Of course, we have one here in Magic Mountain called the Riddler's Revenge. That one packs a lot of inversions. Again, harsh on the legs and harsh on the crotch area because it's got that bicycle seat there. Especially when they pop it up when you're done riding. Oh, that's a pain. Of course, with these ones, and weirdly, I guess just to save on polygons and rendering, they didn't add the bicycle seat portion there, but whatever, that's fine. I know they got another example of a stand-up is one in Cedar Fair, of course, called Mantis. Not as good as the one in Riddler's, but it's the same basic concept. It's kind of like the other ones, like Scream. Of course, it's got the inversions. You can stand up. I mean, of course, who wants to stand up on a roller coaster when you've been standing in line for 3 hours? Isn't that fun? But yeah. Other than that, it's your standard coaster, just like the last ones here. Pretty much the only gimmick it has is that you're standing up. Okay, that's about it for that one. Their next one is the dive coaster. Of course, this one is famous for its vertical drops. They got one in Alton Towers called the Oblivion, and of course, one of the awesome ones, Shikra, at Busch Gardens. That's pretty much not much to say about this one. I mean, of course, they usually have that typical part where just before you hit the 90-degree drop, you kind of pause at the end, and then you dive down. But it rarely has any inversions, if any. Its only gimmick is that it drops you 90 degrees. And that's about it with this one. But of course, okay, I was wrong. This is the only one that isn't in 4 in a row. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And I believe on Shikra there's a ton more. Okay, hold on. Just to clarify, let me go ahead and look this up right now, because I am a little curious now, because I know that Shikra has a lot more. Let's see. Oh yes, oh that is a lot more than just 6. Let me see if I can count them all here. Well, maybe it is 6. I just don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, just 2 more compared to just 6. So technically, it still counts because it's in fours. So I was right. It still comes in fours. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Ha, I'm still right. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, are their hypercoasters. I know it says extended, but RCT3 doesn't know their shit. With this one, these are popular for extremely high coasters, like 200 feet tall. These are the airtime coasters. Every other coaster they make are more about inversions, loops, elements, and whatnot. This type of coaster, a couple of examples. Well, one example that I can only think of right now is Nitro. There's another Six Flags. That one, nothing but air times, nothing but camel humps and hills. And don't worry, I'll get to the whole inversion. Oh, actually, we're gonna go next to the inversion names. When I said camel humps, no, that not yeah 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 you'll know what I mean if you don't know already. But yeah, just about it. It just deals with. Ooh, there's another one. Ah, crap. Ah, this one's a really good one too. It's in I think it's in a Busch Gardens. It's a shoot. It's purple. It's got a. It's either Roman or it's shoot. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue, and it's one of the best hyper coasters that B&M has ever built. It's either based on Roman mythology. Oh, shoot, what is it called? I must find out now. I think it's in a Busch Gardens. I'm not sure. Okay, well, if I don't say it, anyone in the comment section, please tell me, because it is one of the best. I don't know if it's in a Busch Gardens or if it's in a. Oh shoot! Maybe if I Google it real quick. They might show me, or they might not. Oh wait, what is this? This one looks familiar. No, that's Nitro. Shoot. What is it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. Sorry if this one's going to take the whole majority of this video. Oh, shoot. You know, I'm going to be back. I'm going to go ahead and search this. This is really bugging me, so I'm going to make a shortcut here. Okay, I found it. It was called Apollo's Chariot. Let me see, real quick. I just saw it just now, just before I just cut the video. I just saw it. But let's see where it's at. Apollo's Chariot. Yeah, I was right. It was in Busch Gardens. I was right. But yeah, Apollo's Chariot. If you've ever been on that, that is definitely one of the best hypercoasters B&M has ever built. Okay, now that I got that out of my head, we have pretty much seen each of the B&Ms that can be found in RCT3, at least to my knowledge. I might be missing one. If I am missing one, just go ahead and say in the comment section. I'll probably mention it in the next video. But with this video, it's only an introduction to B&M. With the next recurring videos, I might go ahead and build each of these just to show an example of how these can be built. But that's it for the coasters. We're going to go ahead and just go show some examples of elements and inversions that are famous on B&Ms. So the first one, of course, is your basic typical big giant loop, usually up to 50 feet tall, and it's usually the first element you always go into after that curve drop. It's usually there's another way you can tell that it's a B&M, is that almost every B&M always has a drop that curves. I mean, the only drop that does not curve are the hypercoasters, of course, because of course their whole ploy is to give you airtime. However, with B&Ms, they always, somehow always give you that curve drop. I guess it's their signature thing. But yeah, it's your typical loop. It always starts off in the beginning, more often than not. Um, yeah, that's basically all there's to say about this one. Quick thing, it's not just about B&M, but it's basically every other roller coaster known to man. Notice that it's not a perfectly circular loop. I mean, if for some reason if we did make a circular loop, you'd all die, possibly at this point right here. Um, reason for that is because the zero G's, not the zero G's, but the positive G's, or is it negative G's? It's negative G's, I believe. Yeah, the negative G's would have killed you, depending on the form of the loop. The reason why it's teardropped, that's what they're called, the teardrop loops, is that it reduces the gravity induced on you when you go up on the loop. Of course, you've noticed that you don't hang. Well, depending on if it kind of slows down at the top, you do hang, like that new ride Full Throttle. But anyway, depending on your speed of going into the loop, you actually don't feel like you don't feel upside down at all. But I think that's about it to know about this one. Try to say a lot about it, but it's your basic loop. Okay, on to the next inversion. This one is called a cobra roll, famous for how of it looking like a cobra, I suppose, or like the crown of the cobra. It's basically just a half loop with two half corkscrews together, ending in a half loop. Let's see. It's pretty much on almost all B&M coasters, if not all. I think the Kraken doesn't have one of these. Not much to say about this one. I mean, it looks cool from the outside, but going through it's nothing to write home about. At least it looks cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next inversion. Now, this inversion can either be called, again, if I'm going to butcher this name, I'm sorry, the Immelman loop. Immelman? Yeah, Immelman. I'll just go with Illumin. Yeah. Illumin loop. We'll say that. I've been calling it Illumin loops for a while, so Illumin loop. Alright, so it can either be called the Illumin loop or it can be called a dive loop, depending on where you enter from. It is called an Illumin loop if you enter from this side, the left side here, right here. If you enter from here, going all the way up, that is called an Illumin loop. If you enter from here, however, that is called a dive loop. I know it's confusing. I don't know why they call them different names, but you learn something every day. Okay, next inversion, known as a 0G roll. Now, you might be hearing a lot of people saying it's a corkscrew, it's a barrel roll, it's a 0G roll, it's a heartline roll. There is a difference between a barrel roll and a hardline roll and a corkscrew roll. Okay, basically, a heartline roll makes it so that, imagine a straight line going across your heart, and you're twisting your body around. If your heart stays within that line, that is called a heartline roll, because the line goes through your heart and you're rolling, I guess. Typical roll, it basically just pivots from one point and your body rotates around the heart point, rather than the line rotating around your heart. I guess if it's a little hard to describe it, but that's as best as I can describe a heart line compared to a 0G or a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. There, I said it. That's about it. I think a lot of people lose their cell phones on this element, because it really does whip you to either the right or the left. And I believe a lot of cell phone holders do lose it at this particular element. Let's see. Most notable 0G rolls are the one on the Incredible Hulk and Islands of Adventure, and the one on Scream. Okay. Let me see. I didn't say anything about the element loop, of course, on Scream, and of course the Cobra roll It can also be inverted, also for inverted roller coasters. So instead of it hugging the inside of the cobra roll, it can hug outside the cobra roll. Um, Famous ones in the regular cobra rolls on Scream, again, or Medusa, depending on what Six Flags you're in. An inverted cobra roll, another famous one would be on the Silver Bullet at Knott's Berry Farm. Um, but okay, yeah, I covered my bases there. Let's go ahead and move on to the final inversion, known as, I think it's called a twisted corkscrew or intertwined corkscrew. I know I have it here somewhere. Interlocking corkscrews. There we go. It's nothing really. Well, it is kind of special, I guess. I've never really seen this before outside of a roller coaster like Scream, but it's actually pretty difficult to make in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I've been trying. When I tried to build this, it's been a little difficult to try to get this to interlock together, but I kind of finally figured it out. Um, yeah, it's nothing really special if you've never been on a corkscrew before. I mean, it would kind of be interesting if two of the coasters went at the same time, but I don't think that's possible. But that's about it. That's the introduction for the B&M. On some of the next couple videos, I'll be showing I'll be building each one of these, showing some examples, and probably talking about each one. And also giving you guys tips on how to build someone that is realistic, and of course, we're not using any custom scenery. And you know what? I'll also give you guys the opportunity to name each one as while we're building it, and maybe even add the color scheme and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to have anything, other suggestions on what you want to learn from these lessons, go ahead and say it in the comment section below. Other than that, I'll see you guys next lesson. See you guys later.